Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. Today we're gonna be doing something a little bit different. I'm excited. Today we're gonna be doing my retwist because as you can see, I don't know if you can see, but it's very overdue, okay? We're gonna be chit-chatting. We're gonna talk about feeling overlooked by God, comparison, and I'm gonna just share with y'all some things that the Lord has been helping me very much so work through. And yeah, I'm gonna go wash my hair and then we're gonna get into it. To do my retwist, I just use this and it's been holding me down for a good amount of time, so that's what we gonna do. I'm gonna insert some clips for y'all of just the before and after of the wash because baby, okay, so let's get started, y'all. Over the past few weeks, y'all, I kid you not, the way that I have been depressed, I honestly feel like I've just been under attack. And a lot of you who have been following my journey, you know that if you're new here, last year, the Lord had me quit my job in January, right? And I know it's hard to believe, but I don't know if I can multitask, y'all. At the same time that I quit my job, like within the 2 weeks that I quit my job, I came to Christ. I used to be in the new age spirituality. I didn't call it new age back then, but I was spiritual, you know? And for the past year, up until this point, literally, I've just been in like this deep consecration with the Lord. He hasn't let me work. He hasn't really let me do much but sit with him. And a lot of y'all have said on just some recent videos that I've posted that you're also in a similar season. And so y'all, you know, this is not gonna give tutorial, okay? I'm just gonna be doing it. You can tell that I haven't retwisted it in a minute, and honestly, depression, okay? Depression is responsible because the last thing that I'm worried about is my hair. And so over the past year, I've really just been struggling to figure out what God wants me to do with my life, you know? I make YouTube videos, like I make content, but when it comes to like having a clear plan, I don't have one. And more recently, it's like, I don't know, it started to weigh on me so much more. And I started even thinking like, am I doing something wrong? You know, sometimes I feel like when things aren't seeming to bear fruit in the way that we're anticipating, it's really easy for us to start doubting what we're doing, you know? Like, I know for a fact that the Lord told me to do this. I know for a fact that he didn't tell me to move any quicker than what I'm moving, but it almost starts to feel like we'll look into the world and see how the world is moving so quickly and other people are moving so quickly, and it's like, well, what am I doing wrong? Like, maybe I misheard God. Maybe there was something else that I was supposed to do that I didn't do yet. Like, you know what I mean? I was so down in the dumps. Like, I'm just now coming into recovery. I kid you not. After I sat with the Lord and I reflected, trying to get to the root of why I feel so heavy, you know, like I couldn't even pinpoint why I felt the way I felt. Long story short, I finally came down to the conclusion that essentially I was just feeling overlooked by him. And this is so vulnerable to talk about. I felt like he wasn't like what I was putting out into the world, like what I'm doing for him, the way that I've laid my life down for him. I was just feeling like I kept getting passed up. Also, progress update. It's like in my mind, other people rejecting me or other people passing up on, like, even if it's my content, right? Because that's really what it is for me. I don't know what it is for you, but like for me, it's my content. I'm like, I'm putting my whole soul into this. Like, you know, I'm being so transparent, and like, I'm not gonna cry in this video. I'm being so transparent in the videos. Like, I'm sharing my whole heart, like with y'all and like with the world, when it comes to how much I love Jesus and just like my testimony and like how good he is. And it feels like, Lord, like, why isn't it doing better, you know? And it's feeling like other people, I was telling my friend, I was like, you know, I feel like I'm out here just naked, like purely naked in everything that I do, and other people will show their pinky toe and then it's like heaven rains down. You get what I'm saying? I'm like, Lord, it hurts when it feels like you love God so much and you're doing this for him, and it feels like, in my mind, it feels like success is what equals the fact that God is proud of me, right? Like when it succeeds, when my content does well, okay, God is pleased. Like, yes, I did a good job, right? Like it's success. And that's the part where I feel like the Lord really needed to deal with me. Even with the fact that I came from New Age, like on my Instagram in particular, everybody that knew me before I knew Jesus is genuinely, I'm pretty sure, very confused. Like, I feel like even the people that knew Jesus before me are also just as confused. They're like, what the heck? Like, wow, is this girl so on fire? That transition was so night and day. Like I always say, I feel like I had a Paul conversion. One day I'm all into spirituality, sound healing, crystals, all these things. And then the next day it was like Jesus, 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 Jesus. And it's still like that. Going through that transition publicly, it's a lot, you know? There's so much pressure even that I started to feel because I almost felt like I had to prove the fact that Jesus is real, you know? In my head, when other people see that this is succeeding, they'll also know like it's proof for them that Jesus really is God, like that Jesus really is the truth. But when my content isn't doing well and, you know, my life is actually getting a little worse, what does that speak to Jesus? Like, what does that speak as a testimony to make people believe in Jesus, right? Like, it makes me look crazier. It makes me look stupid. It makes me look like this. It makes me look like that. That rejection almost because people don't understand it and feeling like all of that plays into the fact that I feel overlooked. In my head, if I'm being overlooked by people, I automatically feel overlooked by God. And I've slowly started to realize all of these things. Also, side note, here's the progress. The progress update. Boop. Y'all can see it. We gonna pray that y'all can see that. And even though I know it's not true that God is overlooking me, like y'all, I know that God sees me. I know he loves me so deeply. Like I'm his daughter, you know? It's not that I think that God doesn't see me or he's just passing me up, but that's what it feels like, right? And what I also realized along the way was that I wasn't able to express that to God because there was a part of me that wasn't able to be vulnerable about this thing with him. I started to realize that when there's this little part of me that doesn't want to open up to God, right? It doesn't want God to come in and heal this part, like that rejection wound, like that abandonment wound, like I don't even think it's really an abandonment wound. I think it's a rejection wound. This seeking approval thing, like this people-pleasing thing. I don't want the Lord to come in there. And so I would rather just, you know, worry about it and think about it and rack my brain about it than take it to the Lord and just be open with him about it, you know, and tell him how I feel. I love him. But this little part of me is like, you know, but I'm gonna deal with this by myself. There's a difference between us acknowledging something kind of within ourselves and us genuinely taking it to the Lord and telling him like, Lord, I think that, like, Lord, this hurts me, honestly. I feel like sometimes we forget that that's a part of that's like the biggest part of the healing process, right? For example, it's like when you go to a doctor, right? If you go to a doctor, say you have a sore throat. If you go to a doctor with a sore throat and the doctor is there and he's like, hey, so like, do you feel any pain? Is there anywhere that you need me to look at? And you don't tell him that you have a sore throat, but you know that you have a sore throat and you know that you're struggling with that sore throat, but you like, yeah, I ain't finna tell the doctor, he ain't gonna help me. Or, you know, he's just gonna give me some antibiotics. Those don't work for me anyway. Like whatever the narrative is in your brain, right? You're going to the doctor and you don't tell him about your sore throat. So you're like, you know what? I got it. But you're suffering with that sore throat. It's essentially the same way with God, right? If we don't go to him and tell him, hey, I'm hurting right here, how is he gonna heal us? It takes us having that boldness, that courage to show him. And that honestly, it's the trust. It's trusting him, right? Maybe there's some reason why we don't trust the Lord to show him, to tell him where we're hurting, what aches still within us, what we're still holding within us that's even triggering feeling overlooked or rejected. You have to show him. I realized that was the reason why I was feeling so heavy and depressed. I wasn't being open or honest with the Lord about how I was feeling. It even took me a little bit of time to acknowledge it for myself, to be like, okay, like maybe this does hurt my feelings. Because sometimes, you know, you be trying to play hard and it'd be like, that don't hurt my feelings. Ain't nobody finna hurt my feelings. I don't care if you don't like my posts. I don't care if you don't watch my stuff. But it's like, no, it hurts. It would hurt anybody. If somebody's not supporting you, if people aren't supporting you, if there's people that you love, but they're just not supporting you back, like that hurts. And it's okay to acknowledge those feelings, right? One of my favorite scriptures is 1 Peter 5, 6, and 7. And it says, "Humble yourselves, therefore, under the mighty hand of God, so that he may exalt you at the proper time, casting all your cares on him, because he cares for you." God cares about every little thing about us, and there's no detail that he does not want to hear about. Whatever it is that upsets you or hurts you, like, God cares about those things. So tell him, like, be honest with him about those things. Side note, I'm almost done with my retwist. I feel like my neck is so stiff. This is the status update. We're almost done. And I think I'm just gonna finish this last section and then come back to wrap up the video. All right, y'all, so my retwist is finally done. Praise the Lord. As you can see, I'm gonna insert some clips of me wrapping up and the before and after at the end of this video. But I do wanna close out just what we've been talking about, and I wanna leave y'all with some encouragement. This entire video was me just being extremely transparent. And if you relate to anything, please share it in the comments, y'all, so that I don't feel crazier than I already be feeling sometimes. But one thing that I want to share with y'all before I end the video is something that my friend shared with me when I was sharing with her everything that I shared with y'all in this video. She was like, Yebi, your success is not when you achieve these things, right? It's not when the work that I've been putting in or my obedience pays off, right? My success was the moment that I said yes to Jesus. And it's the most successful thing that I could have done in my lifetime. And I want to share that with y'all because it's the same for every single one of us, right? So easy to get caught up in the lack, right? In all of the things that we don't have and the things that we still feel like we need. And a lot of those things are valid, right? But at the end of the day, it's like it blinds us from seeing that God has already given us so much, that there are people that support you, that there are people that see you and love you, right? But we're so focused. It's like we're so busy looking just this one way that if we just tilted our heads a little bit and we looked if you just tilted your vision just a little bit, you'd see so much more, right? So I pray for y'all that the Lord just helps you to change your perspective, that he renews your mind, that he opens your eyes to see all of the things that are right in front of you. There's so much that's just right in front of us, but we just can't see it. And I pray that the Lord help us all to see those things. I love y'all, okay? I love y'all so much. Please share anything that y'all have to share in the comments again so that I don't feel crazy. And I'm gonna insert the clips and just the before and after of the retwist right now, okay? I love y'all, and I'm gonna see y'all in my next video.